Get ready to uncover the secrets of one of history's most legendary civilizations, ancient Egypt. This powerhouse of innovation left lasting impacts that would influence societies for thousands of years to come. Join us on a journey through 10 mind-blowing Egypt facts, and let's dive right in. Number 10 on our list might just make you rethink the origins of beauty standards. Ancient Egyptians took their makeup game VRY seriously. Both men and women wore it daily, considering it as crucial as donning clothes. Yeah, you heard that right. No makeup was seen as unusual and rare, revealing how deeply embedded beauty rituals were in everyday Egyptian life. Let's keep digging into the fascinating world of ancient Egypt. Did you know makeup wasn't just for the ladies back then? In fact, both men and women rocked a full face every day, making it a cornerstone of their daily routine. But here's what gets really interesting. Wearing high-end makeup was a status symbol, indicating wealth and luxury. And when it came time to meet their ancestors in the afterlife, Egyptians believed they should look their best too. Many were mummified with their makeup still intact, reflecting the deep-rooted cultural belief that a well-groomed face would serve them well on their spiritual journey. Plus, some of these ancient practices have surprisingly carried over into modern cultures, showing just how influential Egypt's beauty rituals truly were. And it's not just about looking good, but also warding off negative energies. Let's move on to our next fact, number 9. Imagine a world where math didn't exist, and with it, the entire language of science. Sounds wild, right? Well, ancient Egypt played an incredible role in shaping our modern understanding of it all. Let's give it up for these pioneering scientists and engineers who basically kick-started technological progress as we know it today. The pyramids were mind-blowing feats that defied logic. They stood tall for thousands of years, setting the bar incredibly high for future structures. Fast forward to now, and we've got towering skyscrapers like the Burj Khalifa, built using techniques inspired by those ingenious Egyptians. It's clear their innovative methods paved the way for us to push the boundaries even further. Check out the Burj Khalifa's sleek design. It bears a striking resemblance to Egypt's timeless pyramids. But let's talk about something even more groundbreaking. Ancient Egyptian society was totally ahead of its time when it came to people's rights and freedoms. I know, we often picture past civilizations with a super strict class system, but in Egypt, things were surprisingly different. Archaeologists dug up the remains of pyramid builders, and guess what? These slaves turned out to be fit and healthy, with zero signs of abuse or mistreatment. It's clear that ancient Egyptians valued their people's dignity and well-being more than we often give them credit for. Here's the rewritten paragraph, but wait, it gets even better. The pyramid builders were actually treated like royalty. They got a diet fit for kings, complete with prime cuts of meat and fresh fruit. Now, you might be thinking that this was some kind of special perk for the elite, but think again. Ancient Egyptian workers, from artisans to laborers, had real power to stand up for themselves. In 1152 BC, artists took a bold step. They went on strike against King Ramses II to fight for better pay. Can you believe it? This was thousands of years ago, and these workers were able to negotiate with their government for fair treatment. It's mind-blowing when you compare this to some countries today where protests are still seen as a threat to the status quo. The ancient Egyptians were definitely way ahead of their time. Check this out. It turns out ancient Egypt was way more than just pyramids and pharaohs. They actually had some serious skills when it came to everyday essentials we still use today. Get ready to be amazed. They created the first toothpaste, making them true pioneers of modern dentistry. And it's clear they took dental hygiene super seriously because they also whipped up breath mints. Talk about a fresh idea. But here's something you might not know. Ancient Egyptians were actually style icons too. They invented high heels, and guess who rocked them first? Men did, proving that fashion knows no gender boundaries. Who knew our ancestors were so ahead of the game? Let's dive into some more mind-blowing inventions from ancient Egypt. They're the pioneers behind black ink, which revolutionized writing as we know it today. No pens or pencils needed. This genius invention likely played a role in developing our modern pen game. And if that wasn't enough, they also came up with hair combs, which just so happened to have been around for an insane 5,000 years. The oldest one ever found was even used by an ancient Egyptian king. Now, when it comes to how old this incredible civilization is, historians consider ancient Egypt to be one of the earliest ones we know about. In fact, it might have been the first massive ancient culture to exist. But just how far back does its roots go? Here's the rewritten script. The age of ancient Egypt is a total mystery, while most historians think it might have started around 7,000 years ago, roughly the same time they believe the Sphinx was built. Some theories suggest it could be way, way older. But here's the thing about the Sphinx. Its limestone body would have totally disintegrated in the scorching desert environment over thousands of years. Yet, experts have found clear signs of water damage on this ancient wonder, indicating heavy rainfall after it was constructed. That's a major problem for the 7,000-year timeline, because we know that kind of rain just wasn't happening back then. Now, let's dive back into the mind-blowing potential age of ancient Egypt. If the Sphinx was indeed built a staggering 12,000 years ago, which some theories suggest, it would flip everything we thought we knew about this civilization on its head. Just think about how many more secrets and stories could be uncovered if we're only scratching the surface. Let's switch gears for a bit. Have you ever wondered why ancient Egyptian pharaohs wore those iconic head wraps all the time? It's not just a fashion statement. Head covering was actually super important to these ancient folks, and it would go on to influence countless other cultures that followed their lead. Get ready for some serious ancient Egyptian hair-raising facts. Did you know that even pharaohs themselves rocked those head wraps all day, every day? It wasn't just about looking regal. They believed that seeing ordinary people with their hair out might bring bad vibes to the palace, so they kept it covered. This crazy rich tradition made hair super sacred, and they developed some major advancements in hair care just for the pharaohs. But here's the wild part: when royal ladies got in on the head wrap trend, it spread like wildfire through the elite classes and eventually reached the common folk across the Middle East. Talk about a hairstyle that changed history. Now, let's shift gears to another mind-blowing fact about ancient Egyptian downtime. Their board game obsession is still giving us major life goals today. Are you ready for a blast from the past? Let's talk about Senet, the OG board game that ancient Egyptians just couldn't get enough of. This popular pastime was so lit that it spread all the way to the Roman Empire. Talk about going viral in ancient times. Although we've lost the original rules, variants are still sold today and show how this game traveled far and wide. And get this, many cultures near Egypt have their own board games from back then that look eerily similar to Senet. Now, let's shift gears and dive into some seriously mind-boggling religious facts about ancient Egypt. They worshipped over 2,000 deities. That's right, polytheism was a thing in this ancient civilization, with the pharaoh at the helm as their divinely appointed leader. Imagine having gods for every aspect of life, from sunshine to showers. Ancient Egyptians had around 2,000 deities, each with their own unique role, and all were treated like rock stars. Want good weather? There's a god for that. Need some grub? They've got a deity for food too. But what's really interesting is how they showed the moods of these gods. When they were feeling fierce, they'd go lion mode, but when they were chill, get ready for cute cat vibes. Talk about a multifaceted pantheon. Here's the lowdown D. For centuries, historians had an epic connection to ancient Egypt. But there was one major roadblock: they couldn't crack the code of the Egyptian language. It seemed like history's biggest puzzle, and many thought the written scripts were purely art forms rather than actual writing. But then came a breakthrough moment in 1799 when French forces stumbled upon the Rosetta Stone during their Egyptian campaigns. This bad boy had ancient Egyptian text right next to ancient Greek on an official decree, giving us our first ever glimpse into unlocking the secrets of the lost language. It was like finding the ultimate treasure map. Get ready for a major feline flashback. You know how we can't get enough of our furry friends today. Well, ancient Egyptians took it to a whole new level. They had an absolute cat obsession that's still giving us major Fifth Catlety vibes. They were so into cats that they dedicated serious state resources to studying them, drawing them, and even building shrines in their honor. It wasn't just about having pets. These felines were worshipped as sacred animals. So much so that when an Egyptian cat passed away, it was mummified with care, unlike many other animals back then which just got left outside to fade away. Talk about cat love. These regal felines were living large in ancient Egypt. As pets, they'd get showered with bling and fed the good stuff, way better grub than what their human family members would get. Plus, Having a cat around was believed to bring you serious good fortune and offer some kind of protective energy. No wonder cats were truly